Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'll be talking about the movies, obviously, TV shows, merchandising, I don't know, whatever the case may be. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, then I'll be talking about it. I mean, okay, technically they didn't make this character or this movie I'm about to talk about, but said character did come up in some of the merchandise and such, so close enough, and it's Princess related too. Anyway, it's one of these videos I'll be making where I'll be talking about lost cinema, and I haven't done one of these in a good minute or two. So in this video series, I've often dove into film production and movies that were planned, but for one reason or another, they just never completed it. When I say they, the people who are behind the production team, either because maybe due to budget problems, maybe the cast and crew keeps changing, or maybe the studio just put the plug. And it could happen for a variety of different reasons. There's lots of reasons that could, unfortunately, just put the creative process on indefinite hold, which happened here. And yes, this again is another Barbie related video. Yeah, this is unfortunately a film that she's supposed to be in but never made. Barbie, the emerald princess. Yep, it's another princess kind of a thing here, folks. And I guess the thing is that this was a proposed animated movie that never really progressed beyond the intended concept phase, which means, yes, there was no script, there was literally nothing really to work off of this. So, yeah, this is going to be a very short video, folks, because of that. This idea was proposed during the early 2000s. Yes, of course, the character, or I should say the doll, has been around for quite some time. So it's kind of weird. It took quite some time before any movies were made of the character. So there you go. Yes, obviously, this is going to be princess related. No shocker there because during the history of the doll, there were many, and I do mean many prince related stories. The vast majority of these princess movies starring Barbie are not even connected, with a few exceptions, of course. So there you go. I guess that gives the story tell the script writers a lot of leeway, I guess, when it comes to this kind of thing. A lot of these tend to be just solo project anyway. Again, with a few exceptions. But anyway, moreover is that Mattel and Framework Entertainment, which used to work with Mattel, by the way, I collaborated on several Barbie movies before and after anyway. This Princess movie would have been one of several planned projects that they wanted to work on. And I said wanted to, of course. Anyway, okay, just getting to the point here is that the reasons for the cancellation is not exactly clear, really, as to why this was, I guess, canceled. The exact reasons are pretty unknown, really, but there are some possible factors that did come into play, which include a shift in focus to other Bowery projects, which means they had other ideas they want to look into anyway around the same time when they were making this movie. Another thing is that, and also another possible reason that came into play here is that changes in market demand or maybe customer interest. So, in other words, what happened here also is that there were changes in the market when it comes to certain type of Barbie movies, which means, like I was saying, what worked back then may not work now. So yes, there's going to be a taste of different storytelling. So out of the market, you have to think about what's the trend because something's trendy now does not mean it's going to be trendy later. Which yes, that does happen. And also, like I said, I was saying a moment ago, the customer interest. You have to think about what the customer is going to want. You do have to realize the fan base does change. The fan base does change after a while because lo and behold, people do grow up. Usually, of course, a lot of people seem to think about just because of the fact that there were kids who were interested in this doesn't mean these kids they're gonna have the same interest like they've done before. Because newsflash, kids grow up. I mean, granted, yes, there's a lot of fans of the franchise that often go back and watch the original films, which has happened quite often too. And even to this very day, a lot of fans would just typically go back to these original films. Anyway, another possible thing that could have happened here is that uh, crave differences. Yes, crave differences also could also plague the thing. Maybe there was a thing where a lot of people didn't agree on which to take the good direction of the story. Yes, it could have been a thing in here as well because a lot of people did not agree. Well, what would be the proper steps undertake the necessary story? What are the important key factors in a story and how can they execute said story? Even if you have a good concept, even if you had a good idea in which to take the story, it doesn't necessarily mean that people would agree with what you're doing. It doesn't necessarily mean that people will, of course, be on board on what you're trying to do. Yes, even if you have a good idea. Yes, even if you're confident in what you're doing. And this kind of a thing is fairly frequent when you think about it. Is pretty common, more common than people seem to realize. Is what I'm getting at. But anyway, moreover, there could also have been some deliberate issues because of this, some very deliberate issues as a result of this. So what does this mean exactly? It could also be like I was saying, no one could write a script. So yes, like we're saying, there was no script for this at all. There was no real script that was done for this whatsoever, at all, unfortunately. So I can't give you any specific scenes of what happened during the process of this movie. And ultimately, I have no artwork. There's no official artwork to show. No official trailers. No concept trailers. No plot details that have ever been released whatsoever. So if anything, there's absolutely nothing I can show really, like at all. There's nothing really here. Just kind of vague thing with castles, a magical adventure, and maybe talking animals. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. So there you go. It never left, like I was saying earlier, the initial thought process, initial concept process, and that was it. It never reached production. It never got into production, unfortunately. This is one of those that they just discussed it and just couldn't agree where to take it and just left it alone. And that was it, really. Unfortunately, this could have been a good movie. I mean, it could have been a good film in the making, but you do have to keep in mind there was a plenty of these princess movies or anything. There were already plenty of these movies anyway. Anything about it. You see, Disney had made a bunch of them, or or even Barbie herself. Like I said, Barbie had many princess movies anyway, and so does Disney. Both companies, Disney and Mattel, had already made a truck ton of Disney princesses anyway. So I guess in some ways there's no real loss for this. And but still though, I still would have liked to see how this would have been done if it was actually made. I mean, granted, there's a truckload of these types of movies. I mean, I guess you say when it comes to the fairy tales, the princess themed stories, it already has like a saturation of them. When you think about it anyway. And if Mattel or Disney aren't making them, or Pixar aren't is making them, some other company would be making them. And yes, it's as though everybody and the grandma wants to make a princess movie. And yes, there's tons and tons of princess movies out there that's been made by various directors, by various script writers, by various directors and whatnot. It's like everybody and the grandma wants to make one of these. So those it's been exaggerated when you think about it anyway. Well, I would like to watch it anyway, regardless. Thanks for watching. Take care. See ya. Oh yeah.